Hey everybody, this is Bernetta and this is my hubby, Mr. E. He sat in with me on my very first Ask Bernetta. I am so grateful that the person wrote in and we're going to do Ask Bernetta. As you can see, it's very lengthy and I am going to read it. I will also post the letter on the blog, bernettastyle.com. And if you... Hi Bernetta, I am married and have 2 kids from a previous relationship. Also, my husband has 2 kids from a previous relationship. He recently had to have surgery and is now unable to work. We had a discussion before the surgery that I will join the military active duty to provide for the family. He was totally on board and supportive about the decision. The reasons why to join the military are: 1, I have always wanted to join the military and serve my country but was unable due to the fact I was a single parent. 2, this move would help us out financially, including receiving a generous monthly stipend over $2,000, including paying for all school tuition and books, which means I would not have to work as much while in school. I am currently a family nurse practitioner school and will not be required to actively be involved in the military until I'm finished with school. Upon entering, I will be a captain with more sign-on bonus and incentives available with awesome networking connections and experience. 3, since my husband is unable to work now and will have to file for permanent disability, I will have to work even harder and more than I am currently working, plus attend school full-time until I graduate. And I will finish school no matter what. I have always worked very hard, working full-time plus overtime as a registered intensive care nurse. My husband was a truck driver making a decent income, and throughout our 3-year marriage, I carried on paying all the household bills, mortgage, etc. My husband was able to use his income to clear a previous debt he acquired before I came along in the picture, along with pursuing other hobbies such as DJing and photography, buying needed equipment, etc., and basically doing whatever with his income. Now, the issue is he has changed his mind about me joining the military and wants to sell cars, which he believes he will make a great income. I am okay with him selling cars and other hobbies such as DJ, photography, etc., but I explained to him that is a varying income, and we cannot, based on our finances, on that, especially just starting off. Another reason, he says he doesn't want to leave his kids. We had that conversation before and that was not a problem. He would have been able to have his kids for an entire summer and visit as much as he liked during the year, monthly if he liked, and be able to stay as long as he needs by him not working, because our income will be sufficient to carry out this extra expense. I even stated we can only do this for 3 years, which will be my obligation, and I don't have to resign if this does not work out, and we will be financially debt free. He continues to say he can't leave his kids. I am making the sacrifice to leave my kids if I have to be deployed for a couple of months. If that happens, because I know I am doing this for them to have a better opportunities and financial stability. I see our marriage falling apart because he is not willing to make the needed sacrifices, and I think thinks I will continue to work like a slave to continue our lifestyle. I know marriage is for better or worse, and I'm okay when doing whatever if there is no other way. But there is, which will include our family having a better lifestyle, opportunities, and education. Also, I will not have to slave to provide this. So am I being unreasonable? Sincerely, selfish, or realistic? Okay, we're going to jump right into answering this question. Do you mind if I start, or would you like to start?
You can start. Ladies first.
Thank you. Okay. In my opinion, based on reading this letter and from her perspective, from a wife's perspective, I think that the wife should go to the military. I don't think that she should give her husband an ultimatum. I do think that they should discuss it thoroughly. But I do think based on what she said with her husband being disabled, going to get a disability check every month, also with him wanting to sell cars, which is like an entrepreneurial position, meaning 1 month,
Excuse me.
One month you have a certain amount, you might sell a lot of cars and get a lot of money. 1 month it might be a slow month, so you would never know what you're going to have coming in, versus when he was a truck driver and had a consistent income, a decent enough income that he was able to use his check to follow his hobbies, pay off his debt, and do what he wanted to do. And her income basically paid the household bills. Now that he's on disability, who knows how much that check is, and then selling cars, you'll never know how much that check is. You go to the military, you are setting your family up for financial success. You're going to finish school, you're going to come in as a captain, which automatically is a decent check, and then you get a stipend as well as the military benefits. So I just think it's kind of a no-brainer for you to go to the military, because it is something for your family. But how you're going to go about that, I don't know. And when I say how, it means like how that discussion is going to go with your husband. Because at one point, he was with it, he was for it, you know, he knew why you were going, but something changed his mind after the surgery.
Well, wife, I heard everything that you just said. I've heard the letter, and I do believe there are parts of this that I'm sure we don't know, because there's always two sides to a story. Mm-hmm. And I would love to hear his side of the story, of course. Mm-hmm. But I do have a few questions.
Okay.
Based on the letter that you read here, I see one of his issues is the kids, of course, and there's no mention of how old are the kids. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's very key of why you are not willing to leave your kids, you know, as going to the military. So that's number one.
Can I say something that we talked about before? With the kids, remember she said that he has 2 kids from his previous
Right.
relationship. So based on this letter, which is not mentioned, it doesn't say if those 2 kids live with them currently or not. So let's just, maybe they don't live, his 2 kids live with their mom from the previous relationship, so he doesn't want to leave them now. But before, when he was working as a truck driver, he was cool with her going to the military and possibly leaving them then. And then if he was a truck driver, he didn't see his kids probably often anyway, because truck drivers go for days at a time.
But I guess the question is, because you brought up a great point, that was he going to travel with her? You know, some spouses that are in the military, that doesn't mean the other spouse goes wherever they go, especially if they get deployed to certain places. That spouse stays in the States. Mm-hmm. So that's a question too, is that based on his disability now, can he not live alone based on his surgery? And then always remember too that this is life altering. You know, for a man to have a surgery like this, that's on permanent disability, that's used to working, that's used to providing, and has a mindset to want to work, now all this changed, and he has to depend 100% on his wife.
Can I say something? When you said something key, that's used to providing. Based on this letter, he really wasn't providing. She was paying all the bills with her check, and he was DJing equipment.
But remember, that's what they agreed upon.
That
true. That doesn't mean that he was not willing to provide or was not providing. That just...
Okay, right. They agreed upon it.
And that's what they were doing to get out of debt. She agreed upon that so he can pay off some debt, and we don't know how much money was used towards DJing or whatnot, but that was mainly used for him to get out of debt, so they could be as a family debt free. Based on what I'm reading here.
Okay.
I would also like to bring up that I do believe that a key component to this would be to sit down and, you know, have some prayer. As me and you, we often do, and what we've been taught and what we've learned and grown accustomed to it. After being married, this year be 10 years, and, you know, having children are now 8 years and up. I do believe that is a key component. Not only that, understanding that because we both have a spiritual father, because we are, you know, we do attend church, is that them not necessarily a pastor, but someone who they can both trust as well, that would give them sound information. I think that's key. So that way, that person hear both sides of the story, and it sounds like she's pretty determined to go to school, to go to the military. That's been a life dream for her.
She's at school now.
Right, but that's been a life dream for her to go to the military and provide for her family. So I believe she loves her husband. I believe she wants to do the right thing. And I believe that her husband loves her too and wants to do the right thing. And I think just having someone there that could be that arbitrator, that can hear both sides of the story, and that can recommend some things, yes or no, who they both trust going into it and say, look, we're going to trust this person to help us make the decision, not going into the meeting and be like, you know what, my mind is already made up. No matter what this arbitrator says, I'm going to do what I want to do, but having an open mind.
Okay, let me ask you a question, because we don't want to make a super long video. From her perspective, do you understand what she is trying to say from her perspective as far as wanting to be able to provide for the family? Not that she wants to be the provider, but she understands in a way she has become the provider, and she is willing to do that. And one step to financial success in her doing that is going to the military. Do you understand that?
Oh, I totally understand,
Okay.
and that's why I said that. Excuse me. I believe she has a heart for the family. I believe she loves her husband. I believe she loves her kids, and she wants better.
And based on this letter, do you think that she should go? I mean, I know they want to talk to people, they want to pray, but I'm just asking. The situation, do you think she should go?
Based on what I see,
if he's cool with it after a while,
if he agreed to it, I would love to know now. Besides the kids, why isn't he agreeing to it now?
Okay.
Because if you did agree to something and you go into a marriage, not that everything is concrete, because there are changes and things that can happen that could dictate change. But if you did agree with it beforehand, and she had it in her mind that she was going to be able to do something, it is kind of unfair to her to now change without any valid information of why we should change our mind as a family unit. So I think those things are key. Excuse me. Those things are key, and you know, if it would benefit the family, I truly understand. Based on this, it sounds like it will. But again, I'm not willing to make that total decision and say, go to the military.
Okay.
Without hearing both sides of the story.
Okay.
And that's just my personal thing
Okay.
as a husband, as a father.
Based on what you wrote, that we are in agreement of it's the best for your family for you to go to the military. But we're just saying that don't just go home and be like, I'm going to the military. You know, that talk it out with your husband, because, you know, some things are missing in the letter. At least, you know, he says that he wants to leave for his kids. It just has to be a deeper reason than that, especially when he was for it before. And he knew that there was a possibility of him leaving the kids. There's something in there that, you know, we're just not getting. So we just think that you should, like, go talk to somebody, like I said, whether it's your pastor, whether it's a mediator, arbitrator, but somebody that he can share his story, you can share your story, and they can give you sound advice on how to go about it. But if it's just cut and dry, we do agree that the military financially would probably be the best for your family.
And I would just to add one last thing is that, how much is the permanent disability? Is it almost $2,000? Is it, you know, whatever that amount is, you know, I think that's
well,
awesome.
That $2,000, that was her stipend.
Right, but what I'm saying is how much is that permanent disability is going to equate to that.
Right, but again, we don't know what
Right.
the government is paying in disability.
Right.
We just don't know. And again, that's just a stipend, babe. That's not what she would be getting, you know, a check. Even though she might get a stipend, she's still going to get a check for working with the military.
That is the check.
It says, I will be including receiving a generous monthly stipend over $2,000.
Right, that's how the military gets paid. They get that's their stipend that they get monthly. That's how they get
So
paid.
they don't get that in a check?
No.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. But we agree that going to the military is the best over the long run. And those benefits, I mean, who doesn't want the military benefits? I mean, you know, they're great from what I hear.
Now this is just for our own point of view as we close this thing.
Okay.
Do you want to go to the military?
That's not my dream, babe. This is not about me. This is about this young lady. That's her dream. You know, that's her dream. But no, the going to the military is not my dream. But if it's, I'm all for anybody following their dream. So if that's her dream and her husband was willing to support it in the beginning, it's bad that he's now backtracking, you know, because she's just trying to do what's good for her family. You know, this is like a family thing. This is not like I said before, going to acting school. I want to go there because I want to be an actress. I want to be famous. No, she's trying to do something for her family. And I just think you can't knock that. So that's my opinion. You cool?
Yes.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.